Hey, this is Dr. Tony. I'm in my office. We're going to be talking today about the brain, how amazing it is, and specifically about a thought process and a thing called neuroplasticity, which sounds like a disease, but it's not. And it's the ability of your brain to change. And it's an amazing thing that they've really rediscovered recently, and I'll tell you how it's beneficial to us a little bit more later, but it's beneficial because we can change our brain for the better. So without me saying anything else, I'm going to show you a little video clip that's going to show you, explain what we're talking about here.
Think of your brain as a dynamic, connected power grid. There are billions of pathways or roads lighting up every time you think, feel, or do something. Some of these roads are well traveled. These are our habits, our established ways of thinking, feeling, and doing. Every time we think in a certain way, practice a particular task, or feel a specific emotion, we strengthen this road. It becomes easier for our brains to travel this pathway. Say we think about something differently, learn a new task, or choose a different emotion. We start carving out a new road. If we keep traveling that road, our brains begin to use this pathway more, and this new way of thinking, feeling, or doing becomes second nature. The old pathway gets used less and less and weakens. This process of rewiring your brain by forming new connections and weakening old ones is neuroplasticity in action.
So they're talking about rewiring your brain. Pretty amazing, right? Now that was just a kind of a digital picture to explain it, but they actually have videos of the neuron and dendrites and axioms in a living brain. I'm going to show you them right now. So watch this. So you see that highlighted area? That's a nerve, neuron sending out a dendrite. And there's an axion. If you look at to the, you see those red arrows? That shows a connection between the two neurons. And then this is a different picture, but this shows kind of like a tree growing. And it's sending out messages. This next one is where it says that if you don't use it, like it'll go away as far as that memory loss. See that red, that white neuron? It just disappears. It's going to show you it again because it's not being used, and it just kind of dissipates. There you go, right there. So how does this help us? This helps us because now we understand that we can rewire our brains for the good. We can change bad wiring and turn it into good wiring. We can use this in our everyday life. A good example of that is when my son was in Little League, I picked up this book. It's called The Mental Game of Baseball. And very interesting book because it talks about how come a player who's batting 300 all of a sudden goes into a slump and is batting 150. And this is a player who's not injured or anything. It's just like they were batting 300, now they're batting 150. And Yogi Berra had this saying. He said that 90% of baseball is mental and the other half is physical. Which, if you know yogiisms, it's part of his thing. But he said 90% mental. And so that's the difference between somebody batting 300 and 150 in that same person I'm talking about, is it was mental. And, you know, one of the things that we used this book for was if you make an error, most of the time a person will replay that error in their head, and that's the wrong thing to do because you're actually reconnecting the negative play. You're supposed to replay that same play in your head with no error in order to retrain yourself. So anyway, there's also another book that I used a lot, and you can see her on a lot of YouTube things. It's called "Who Switched My Off My Brain," and it's by Dr. Carolyn Leaf. So look her up on YouTube also. So how can we use this to help ourselves? Well, what scientists have found is that with negative thought patterns, your body, the thoughts go to the hippocampus, and the hippocampus will release certain hormones and biochemicals to the body. For instance, the fight or flight response, like if you're scared, your body's supposed to produce these hormones so you can react. But if you are under stress for a period of time, it's just not an instant, but it's longer periods of time. If you're constantly under stress, it's constantly releasing things like cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrines, which are bad for the body and affects your overall health. However, if you have good thoughts and you're in a place of peace and love and tranquility, things like serotonin are released, which is helpful for the body. And so, even in the Bible, it says, whatever's true, whatever's knowable, whatever's right, whatever's pure, whatever's admirable, think on these things. And so thinking on the good things are going to help your health and help your life. I have too much to explain in one video, so we're going to come back next week. We're going to tell you about how your brain and your thoughts can affect your health. Pretty interesting stuff. Now get this, I'll just give you a taste. Study with a person who had multiple personality disorder. So they have multiple personalities in one person. In the one personality, that person was allergic to certain things. But when they were in the other personality, they weren't allergic. Same person. How about this? Those one person in one personality had 20/20 vision, didn't need glasses. When they were in the other personality, they couldn't see without their glasses. So pretty interesting stuff. We'll get into a little bit more next week. In the meantime, go on to YouTube, put in neuroplasticity or Dr. Carolyn Leaf. You'll get some pretty interesting videos. In the meantime, hey, peace, love, and good thinking.